absolutely nothing. That's what we have planned for today. Just a couple of guys shooting the shit, talking about Jeeps. As always, joined by Ryan Stoyangi from Combat Off-Road. Tim is off on another epic off-road racing adventure. He'll be back next week. So yeah, Ryan and I, we just hang out, talk a little bit, answer some of your questions, and hey, don't forget that product of the week. This week, I think you're going to like it. Summer, wheeling, what's better than some Mission doors? These things are pretty sweet, so stick around for those. As always, if you learned something, please hit the like button. Smash it if that's what you're into. Hit the bell if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, hey, if you're listening to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, where are we? We're on SoundCloud and Stitcher, and we're all over the place. We do appreciate you being here, like every week. We appreciate each and every listener as well. Yeah, so that's it. Let's get into it. Let's just shoot the shit, sit back, relax, grab a beer if you got them. Let's talk about Jeeps. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Light Bars and Lockers. As always, I've got Ryan Stoyangi here from Combat Off-Road. Tim this week is MIA. I believe he's working on some of his race. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's not here.
Constipated, but I don't
know. There you go.
He's probably got something to do. Everyone's got stuff to do all the time.
I know, right? Absolutely. Well, this is race series, which is super cool. I swear to God, I there's a one of their what's it called? Their buggies, like, you know, the ones that they sell the tube chassis for.
Yeah, I have one at the compound.
Do you? Oh my God, there's one for sale, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like Ken Block, he can start at 40 something. You know, that means I can start, no problem.
Dude,
you know,
don't worry. Yeah, get on it.
Right?
It looks like a ton of fun. Yeah.
Oh my God, it looks so much fun. Yeah. And then, you know, you see the pictures, like the last race he was in, his picture afterwards, he's just like, I think it's just his eyeballs were sticking out. Yeah, so I imagine he's off doing something like that. So, as mentioned, yeah, Ryan and I, we're here. We're going to answer a couple questions, shoot the shit, keep it light, keep it short. So, Ryan, how's it going, man? And what's been going on at Combat?
It's good. We're just trying to develop up some more stuff, get it off the good old pieces of cardboard and into some models on the computer, and then print them up. Like we were talking off recording about just the process of developing stuff and taking an idea and putting it to something manageable, and then actually getting it made for a prototype and then fitting it. It's just like, I mean, it sounds so easy from the simplest little thing, but you know, it always takes longer than you think and then you want, and then sometimes you get something done, you're like, oh fuck, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. And then sometimes you're like, yeah, home run. And then I love when there's home runs in your mind, and then maybe not everyone likes that product. I don't know. But yeah, we're just trying to race up some products, and you know, I don't know. I was talking with one of my friends down south, and he was saying that a couple of the bigger people are pulling out of SEMA for the fall here.
Really?
So I don't know if that's going to create, you know, like a domino effect of people just saying, you know, once one guy gets up in the room, you know, everyone starts getting up, right? So we'll see. But that's the idea. I'm just going to go. We're going as we're going, as long as it's not imminent death, you know what I mean, hopefully. And we're going to work as we're going towards that. So we're going to try and get some more products out. Even if they're just prototype, just to chat with people in the industry, get some feedback on some of the stuff. And we have our core products that are already ready to go that way. Yeah, that's kind of what we're going to do. And we'll see. For me, it's not so bad. Like, I can get up and go within a couple days, you know, pack everything, run over to the compound, run over to our warehouse, and make our way across country. Like, so it's not too bad. And my main guy, Nate, like our partner, and that he's pretty reasonable too, to jump up and get going. He might need a few extra days than me, but yeah, so we can just make that decision on how we're going to do that, and then we're probably talking somebody, one or two buddies, to come down and hang out in the booth for the week too, hopefully.
Nice.
So Steve, if you're watching, you're probably going to be drafted too.
There you go. Awesome. Right on. Yeah, it's funny because we get invited every year, like Jeep Beef as a whole, just to go down and cover it from like a media standpoint. But things come up, what have you. I'm not sure we ever even made it once. But this year we were that was it. We're going. We're gonna do like our full pictures and do the coverage and go meet up with some of our friends at different booths and obviously we'd cover the combat booth and but then of course 2020, man, it's fucking year,
No.
man. It's insane. I still haven't got my GL. Like
Oh, I
it's
know. That's painful.
it's so
Did I tell you I
painful.
ordered a Gladiator and got it in like 36 days?
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah.
I just wanted to remind, just in case you didn't notice or I
Right.
didn't.
Right. Yeah, just in case I didn't see that within what hours you had it lifted and had 37s on it.
Basically next night we got it all done. But yeah, I know they're pumping those out. I don't know how all the plans work, but yeah, JL Rubicons are on some kind of strange demand somewhere else, and it kind of just shuts the funnel off to our area, right? But the Gladiator, you're good.
Yeah, I know. I honestly, if so, we have an entire garage full of product that has been sent for us to, put on there and review and what have you. And then, of course, we're going to schedule some time up at Off Road Addiction. And we're going to, so for anyone watching that, hit the like button and hit that bell because when we start doing these, they're going to roll out pretty quick and you'll want to be notified. But, we've got just a ton from some pretty cool bumpers and we've got some rock rails from the guys down at Rome Off Road. We've got a lot of stuff. If it wasn't all sitting here ready for a JL in a heartbeat, I'd just go with the Gladiator. Yeah. Well, and to be honest, I've been looking at the Gladiators a lot just because you and Tim and everybody seems to be getting one, and it's like I mean we have a JL. So one of the other girls who works there, like we have a JL, we have a JK, we have all of that. But the JL is just it's sort of my project that we can do the videos with, so it's also a family thing. But man, that Gladiator's pretty hot. Like it's pretty when you get it, up on those 37s like you have it and like Tim has it, man, that thing looks good. It kind of looks weird with like just stock. It looks kind of weird.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Anything that's terrible. This is against my religion to
Right?
have it stock for more than like a week, unless if I got some things I got to do. I just don't even look at it
Yeah.
until we get a chance to change it a little bit.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be funny because the first thing I've committed to doing is getting that bumper install done. And again, for anyone watching, a little Easter egg, you're gonna find these bumpers on the GP website soon. Once we do a proper review and make sure that as with everything we do on the website, we want to make sure that the product is very high quality. Which is why we obviously carry Combat and TMR. We know that product. We obviously know the people behind them, behind those products. So we're going to do a review and what have you. So the first thing, I'm probably going to drive it right straight to the shop and throw the bumper on it. And it's going to look hella crazy. You know what I mean? Like, because it's just going to be a stock Rubicon with a crazy bumper. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I do actually have a TMR bumper as well. Like I said, we've got tons of stuff. So we're going to throw the TMR bumper on the back. We have one, another one laying around. So yeah, lots of parts, lots of things, lots of stuff coming. We just need to get this
Stuff on ours too.
Yes. Yeah.
I figure, we'll just come out here and we'll have a barbecue and put all the junk on, fire it all up. I got five bays, so we got some space.
Amazing.
We just build some junk and film it and have some fun. And
yeah, I was gonna say that would be
maybe a drink or two. We'll just I got a couple tents in the showroom and trailers and stuff. So we used to just camp out. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Okay, stay tuned because we'll record the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll just put up like hidden cameras. Big brother house. We'll vote each other off. It'll be great.
Well, I got cameras here for work, like for the shop too. Maybe we can somehow pull the footage off the cloud, and I got some GoPros and stuff, so we'd be able to add an extra 5 or 7 cameras anyways.
There you go. Okay, so it might get a little crazy. All right, good. I love it. Okay, so for today's show, we are basically we don't have any sort of heavy topic like we've had in the past in terms of wheels and lift kits or axles, axle upgrades, all that fun stuff. Instead, we just wanted to talk real quick. There's a couple questions I think that Ryan will be very well suited to answer. I think we're going to talk about that and then product of the week. So actually, let's start with the product of the week. And as always, we like to thank our sponsors. TMR, Combat. Obviously, you guys are here, so we really appreciate that. So anything we can do to help support our sponsors and keep this show going, obviously, please help us out. Great product every single time, I guarantee it. And as a matter of fact, speaking of guarantees, I believe Combat has a guarantee. Is that correct?
Yeah, lifetime warranty on all our stuff. So like things happen, or you start producing thousands of things, and the odd time you're going to get one that maybe doesn't up to snuff, and we just vet that by, if you found something that didn't work out for you, like we're going to get you all sorted out. But make a cool video of like maybe a field destroy. You know what I mean? So maybe you blow it up. You know what I mean? Maybe you run it over. Maybe you I don't know, shoot it with a giant gun. I don't care what it is. Fun, right? You know what I mean? So, that being said, do me a favor. If it still works and it's still okay, don't just blow my shit up. But if it does fail, I don't mind a little fun video, and then we'll send you out a replacement for sure.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so this week's product of the week, seeing as it's summer and it's, around here, it's hot. It's been super hot. It's the thing. It's cold in the winter, hot in the summer. We're talking like 0 rain, 100 degrees every day. Perfect weather for tube doors. In this case, we're talking about the Combat Mission doors. Ryan, tell us a little bit more about these guys.
Oh, they're basically like a steel tube door, E-coated, powder coated after that. The latches are hidden on the inside, so it's just like a flush look. Has our logo on it. Ours come with the mirrors, so you don't have to worry about buying mirrors. They come with the foot straps, so you get those fancy dents in the door. So as long as you remember to hang that little strap on it, I'm giving you the strap with the doors. So a lot of our competing doors don't come with mirrors, don't come with straps. So it's kind of all way you go. There's some assembly required. You're going to want to adjust the latch. You're going to want to mount the mirrors, but it's all hand tools, super simple stuff. Even the bolts that mount the mirror to the tube door are stainless, so you won't get any of that extra bleed out from, a regular steel fastener bleeding out over onto your powder coated doors. The mirrors are nice and big and rectangle. We'll go down and take a look. I will walk this call down there and see how that goes. But yeah, let's check it out. Like I said, lifetime warranty. Have any challenges, let us know. We've had the doors out for a couple years now, so I've yet to warranty a door. You know what I mean? I don't think I've even warranted a latch or anything. But yeah, like I said, we're enthusiasts, we're consumers, we're all the same. We're all the same guys. We're just like you guys. So you have a challenge that's gonna, bug us. So we want to make sure you're happy.
Cool. And question for you. We're taking a little bit of a tour. I love it. Now, if the person installing these doors has the TMR Delrin door liners.
Oh yeah, they just fit.
They fit right in,
the
right?
door liner. Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so it makes it easy. As a matter of fact, Christina, there's an amazing video. We'll try and find it, hook it up. She did on Instagram of her lifting, and she's like 5'1". She's not big at all. And she just lifted that door right off, and yeah.
Think of a sole on her shoe as that day.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So basically, we got like a parts-looking Jeep thing on the wall. It's a little beat up. We haven't got that far to fix it, but so there's the door set front and rear. Those half uppers are not for the doors. They're just they were just there to make a profile of a Jeep. I don't know if you can kind of notice that. Minus there's boxes in the way a little bit, but so basically.
Okay, I see the mirror. Yeah, the mirrors. That mirror looks pretty good too. It doesn't look like it's one of those little, little thin steel with the little round. You can't see anything out of it. That's like a full-size mirror.
Yeah, no, we picked the mirrors out and we were pretty happy with them. You can see everything you need to see. I'm gonna see if I can find a latch. Yeah, because I took them off the display too, I think. I think I got one later here somewhere, but
Yeah, that's one of the things I really like about them is the fact that the latch is on the inside like that, right? So you don't see it on the
Yeah.
outside, but it's still safe. It latches properly.
Yeah, and it's a slam latch, right? So you don't have to worry about your fingers. You just slam it, and there it goes. That's it. So the only thing you're going to do out of the box is you're going to adjust that because everything's a little different, you know. Yeah. So this is a door. Let me see if I can do this. All right. So let's see here. This is the weirdest video camera. Even it's a laptop. So that's your. I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
Yeah.
So basically, where's my hand? That's me. Oh, it's like cutting your neck hair in a mirror.
Right.
So there's your latch. So inside, you're just gonna click it, open the door, and you just slam that door down. And they're pretty easy going, and they're nice because they're out of the way, like inside, right? Actually, because the door is so thick on the OE door, you're kind of compact in there. But this gives you a lot more room, and it's nice because you can see when you're on the trail. It's cool. You know, you got this opening here, kind of lets you see where you're going, like obstacle wise. The lower profile, you can still put your arm down on that, and it's comfortable for driving position. I guess it might vary in your height. I'm about 6 foot, and it's good for me. Christina is about 5 feet, and she hasn't told me she didn't like the profile, so I'm just assuming it's good for her. And it's nice, like I said, if you got little ones, like we're both family guys, you know what I mean? So it's nice. You don't have to worry about your kids messing around and falling right out of the Jeep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to have that feeling of like free air. They can stick their feet out here and kind of pretend like they're having some, you know, they're free, but you know, we still got them, you know, enclosed in the Jeep. So
Yes.
that's kind of what I like about the doors. You know what I mean? I do like no doors, no top too, obviously, but you know, the little kids, even if you guys 4-door guys and girls, if you got some small ones, you just throw the rear doors on. You keep your front doors off even if you want. Or like I said, if you're on the trail, sometimes it's nice to have that door, right? Because, you know, you're getting in some tight bush or something, and then tree branches, you know what I mean? Like, let's say even if you're aggressive, like this is the beauty of this door. You can put this on a stock Jeep, JKJL, whatever you want. Or you can put it on like a super heavily modified one. That's the beauty of a lot of our components. They're kind of, if you like something or you like the logo or you like what we stand for, you can kind of go for it. You don't, if you got 1 tons and a V8 and all that fun stuff, you can still run the tool or those doors, right? Or if you got a stock one, you can still run those doors. So there's lots of benefits to the doors for sure.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, I'm with you on the whole family thing, right? Because I take the doors off and the roof off, and my kid loves it. But I swear, I'm driving around and I am like nervous. You know, he's at the age where his seat, he's in a seat, but it's not latched in. It doesn't need to be. So literally, he pops, and he does it all the time because he thinks he's funny. He undoes his seatbelt, or he undoes his brother's seatbelt, right? And you know, like we're driving around, and it just, you know, it's nerve wracking. And then the other thing is, I also have dogs, right? So I throw the dog up in the front seat, and you know, I love my dog, but one of them's not all that smart. And it wouldn't surprise me if she just saw like a squirrel and out she'd go while we're driving down the road, you know.
My buddy dog, he loved train tracks, man, and he jumped right out of the Jeep.
No way.
Yeah, to attack the train tracks. It was insane.
Really?
Yeah, he like ripped his leg apart and everything, and it was like a $1,500 surgery or something.
Oh no! Like they were driving and he jumped right out.
He drove right, yeah, like 50, you know, like a 30-mile-an-hour road, kind of just blowing over train tracks.
Really? Holy
yeah,
crap!
they got to get that train track, pop right out of there.
Really? Yeah. See, there you go. At least this hopefully will help prevent it. I don't know if you can stop a dog who's after train tracks, but
I've had my dog in the front seat of my CJ like 100 years ago, and we were just driving down, going to the beach or something, and turned a corner, and he just off balance. I like had to like reach out and grab him. He didn't even want to go anywhere. He's just like, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't mute him out, but yeah, that's why, you know, I like. There's some benefits to the doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure. And the beauty of it is, you know, whatever. You don't have to run them all the time, but you know, if there's those times, then you got them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for wheeling in particular, it's great because you don't have to go doors off. And, around here when we're wheeling, I mean, there's a lot of bush, like you said. So you're getting scratched up. And, if you're on a bit of an angle or what have you, it's just nice to not fall out of your Jeep while you're driving. I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah, totally. Or like if you did fall on a rock, you know what I mean? Like you're still doing like a slow flop. I mean, the rock's going somewhere, and if it's just your tissue, like we're not made of steel ourselves, right? So it's nice to have that door if something like that happen, right? So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? You got a lot more freedom than the regular OE door, but you got a little more safety. And aesthetically, if you like the logo or you like that look, they're good. I really like the door. I mean, I'm biased, obviously. We kind of put them together, but there's a lot of ugly tube doors out there, and I think we're not one of those. So.
Cool. We'll put a picture in on the Jeep site in the show notes. We'll put a picture of is it Nate's, the green Jeep yeah, it's a sweet looking rig he's on 40s, right?
Yeah, he's on 40s.
Yeah, so he's on 40s. It's a great picture. I'll put it down. You guys check it out. Just the link will be if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple or whatever. We'll put the link
Silver
to the
Lake
show
thing?
notes.
That one, the one up on the sand.
Yes, yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's the place to go. No one, if you haven't been to Silver Lake, Michigan, like anyone, I know it's going to be a trek for some people, but I mean, I don't even know if they're open. They're probably open. I didn't go this year yet, but that is an epic spot. For us, it's not bad. It's pretty close to our warehouse, and it's really close to our compound. Yeah, super cool. Like it's like a whole other world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're from like the West Coast, it's kind of like that idea, like Glamis and those places. You know what I mean? But it's just a giant, epic sand dune. You know what I mean? In the middle of nowhere, and then nice views. Like you're at the top of the sand, just all the water.
Nice.
It's nice. Yeah, I really like that place.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we'll link that picture up below. Cool. No, that's awesome. All right, so Mission Doors. If you want to pick up a set or learn some more, we'll put the link to those as well below. And yeah, they're pretty awesome. So yeah, thanks for that. That's good. Okay. So I was gonna do some news, but to be honest, I haven't been a whole lot of news except I'm still waiting for my JL. So I tell you, I'm never gonna stop with the whole JL thing, but it's literally, from what I can tell, days before they switch to 2021s. Like it's gonna be 3 days. They start. So right now they're saying like August 3rd. Will be around August 3rd, August 6th, which is it's very soon, is when mine will be good to go. But they start like August 6th making the 2021s. So, and there are some like little nuances between the 2020 and the 2021s, mainly because they're trying to, assumingly anyway, they're trying to sort of bolster the Jeep a little bit to better compete with the Bronco. But they're putting things like, so in the Sahara right now, they have the limited slip differential, right? So I believe that's what it is. I have to double check, but anyway, whatever it is that they have that particular drive in the Sahara, they're putting into the Sport, which doesn't really affect me, but you can get it optionally in the Rubicon. But in the Rubicon one, it'll auto sense when you need to be put into 4-wheel drive, and it'll just automatically throw you in 4-wheel drive, which is, I don't know a lot about that particular module, but
I'm not a big fan of that feature. I don't like auto 4-wheel drive ever.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I was curious about your take on that because, I mean, yeah, I don't, as a matter of fact, I've only ever used 4-wheel drive, even in like the crazy snow and whatever, just a couple of times, because most of the cases you don't need it, right?
Yeah, it really depends on what you're up to. You know what I mean? But like any auto 4-wheel drive option, I'm not really a big fan. It's just like it's gonna automatically shift, but you don't have any control over it, right? So like, I mean, there'll probably be a speed where it wouldn't, but it's still like wear and tear on that just engagement. You know what I mean? Because you're already in motion, potentially fast or slower. You're stepping on the gas, and you're just getting engaging or the disengaging. You know what I mean? I know on a couple other vehicles, some older, like stuff like we were working on some GMC, like those weird looking half SUVs, and their engagement gear was actually like a little plastic actuator with a little aluminum gear on it, and it would just shred over time, right? So there's a lot of I don't know the system what they're thinking about.
Yeah, I know. I'll find out, and maybe we'll circle back next week. But like I
Yeah,
said,
we can
I,
go to view on it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know that they're doing some small tweaks anyway between the 2020 and 2021. I know, for example, pardon me.
Oh, the problem with you're waiting buying a brand new vehicle, and it's gonna be a year old already.
Yeah, I know
So it's already devalued, and
yeah.
then you purchase it, and then you're gonna get like a double down.
Yeah.
So
I know, it's crazy.
You're gonna have to do something.
Agreed, 100%. But yeah, no, we'll find out what it is. Like I said, I know that they're doing some small things. I don't think a lot on the Rubicon model. I think more on the Sport and the Sahara to just, I don't know, better compete, I suppose, with Bronco.
Could be some make work projects, keep people feeling important.
Yeah, that's it, right? You got it. So,
hey, Bob, change still a knob here, would you?
Okay. Yeah, exactly, right? You got it, right? It's all new 2021. It's got that knob now. It's completely
new. Yeah. Check out the knobs.
That's right. Okay, cool. So let's just jump into the questions. First question. Let's see here. Okay, so this gentleman. Okay, says. Okay, so I have a 2019 JLU, and it has an open front and limited slip differential rear. Got the Mopar 2.5 lift with 35s on it. So far, only used it on forest and in dry conditions. No major hills, at least at this point. No complaint. He doesn't intend to use it for serious wheeling. He just wants it for, getting out to peaceful and isolated areas. So probably more like the overland and camping type things. But his question is, what is the real world difference between limited slip differential and lockers? He knows the basics, obviously, with how it works in terms of like the loss of traction, the LSD will, transfer that power. But at what point does that no longer become, I guess, useful, and the lockers are what you need?
Yeah, for sure. Well, he's 3/4 of the way there, really. Like, if he understands the fundamentals, yeah, basically most posies are. There's a couple different ones. So there's the most majority one is going to be one with like clutch packs in it. So like a fibrous material, a bunch of packs, and basically it's feeling the traction, and then it'll slowly like wheel slipping. Those will tighten up, and then they'll send a percentage of power to the free spinning wheel, and that'll give you enough traction to kind of get out of whatever you're doing, right? Where a locker is essentially what it sounds like. So basically, it's going to be electric or air or some sort of pneumatic. You push a button, and what it's going to do, so you have your center diff, right? And you have your ring gear and your pinion gear, your axle shaft. So when you're driving in an open diff, it's a one-wheel drive, right? And then when you're stuck with a positive traction, you got those little clutch packs inside, right? And they're going to, like I said, if you start slipping, it's going to send some power that way and give it a little more. So put a little percentage, let's say 20% from 0% of a drive on that free spinning wheel. Then a locker, what it's going to do is there'll be a collar in there. There's a bunch of different ways they're made. We can go into that later. But basically, for making it simple, it basically slides a sleeve over and locks it. So both axle shafts are going to spin at the exact same. They're going to get the equal power. So that's going to give you equal power. You're going to spin equally, right? So the thing with not having there's other things too, like spools and all kinds of stuff that keep them locked forever. So the challenge is when you turn, one wheel's going to be going faster than the other, right? We have two different circles we're going to create in turning. So one's wheel is going to want to catch up and pump and jerk. So great traction, great for like getting over obstacles and all that fun stuff. Tough for drivability on the road, which, if this is your only vehicle or, even if it's a secondary vehicle, but you still plate it and drive it all the time, you probably don't want spools. You probably don't want the thing locked all the time. That's why, it's open. And even there's an added cost to the limited slip. That's why a lot of things are open. So if you're in two-wheel drive, you're really in one-wheel drive. And when you're in four-wheel drive, you're in two-wheel drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it's at. So, but if you did like a spool up front, or you had them always locked up front, and you're doing terrain where you're maneuvering, what's going to happen is same difference. All those wheels are going to be trying to drive you forward. So you go to turn, you're going to push the truck or Jeep forward, and you're not going to have that ability. So if I had the wheels open, so one wheel is getting power and this wheel wasn't, it gives me the ability to maneuver, right? Because they're not forcing at the same time. One's freewheeling, so you can steer. So the beauty of why people want selectable lockers is basically that is you can maneuver terrain. You can just pick when you want to go. So if you want to climb up this big hill and it's slippery, maybe you want all the traction. If you're going to climb up a big hill and you got to maneuver at the top, maybe you just want the locker in the back. If you're going to climb up a boulder, pretty easy, not a lot of steering. You want a locker. You want to lock all four tires to get as much traction as possible. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it is. And like I said, the other type of positive traction is it's like a Torsen style worm gear. So basically, it's these helical gears inside, and they do the same thing. They'll feel that energy and they'll bind up and they'll go. They're super smooth. Detroit TrueTrack is the most common one, and then Yukon has a version. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but those are the two, and they're nice. You just if you're mostly driving, you just want some traction. We've put them in a lot of Jeeps. Most Jeeps have drive flanges, right? So basically, you don't have those lockout hubs, right? So it's kind of a loaded question, but basically, you could put a Detroit locker in a 1-ton axle that had lockout hubs. So if you didn't want to pay for the extra selection of the locker, it's probably a $400 or $500 difference plus an air compressor or wiring or switches and all that stuff. So basically, what I used to do when I had Detroit lockers front and rear in my CJ it had like half-ton axles in it, like Bronco stuff. But anyways, I would driving. Kind of gives me that freewheeling so I could navigate. And then if I wanted to come to an obstacle, I had to lock the other hub. So both hubs are locked. So that kind of sealed the deal on traction. So then the Detroit locker would work the way it's supposed to. Everything's locked up. So, but a Jeep doesn't have the lockout hubs, unless you switched and converted. Like you'd notice on the 1-ton stuff, you'd see it with lockout hubs and all that stuff. And then if you looked at like Tim and Mike's machine there, like the Blueprint TJ, you'll see on their site they sell drive slugs and all kinds of stuff. So they eliminate the lockout hub because it is kind of a linchpin. That is a failure point with a big tire and lots of rotation. You blow those outer hubs up. But so when they put those slugs in, and if they're going to have like a locker inside, like that's going to be a little tougher to steer, right? So I don't know what they got up front on that thing, but you can eliminate that if you use the 1-ton. And we're kind of it's so loaded, but you put the drive slug in. You'd have like an air locker, so you could turn it off, kind of thing. So, but yeah, for his question, that's pretty much it. Basically, like he was thinking, limited slip, throw some traction, and then a locker actually just locks that, so you have equal power across. And for him, trail riding a little bit, going to do some nice scenic stuff or some fishing or some hunting, he'll be just fine. You know what I mean? I wouldn't really worry about it. I would just match up everything, like, make sure if he's putting that bigger tire on because he wants to have some ground clearance to get into some better spots, make sure you're not too far out of ratio from the factory for gears in the differential. Yeah, he'd be fine. And you could fool it a little bit. Like you 2-foot that thing, like start pumping the brake. That's what's really good for the TrueTracks, actually. They work really well if you 2-foot it and kind of fool it, and it'll tighten up. And like I said, you can put those front and rear too. But I would say he's fine, to be honest. I mean, and the only way for him to know is to actually just do it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And yeah, evaluate that. Hey, is it worth $2,000 or $5,000 for me to get to this other hunting spot that I couldn't get to before? Maybe don't go alone for that one. Make sure another buddy's there just in case, tow you out of there. But that's
perfect.
That's kind of the idea.
Okay, cool. So I think what we're saying is with the limited slip, it'll give you traction to that slipping wheel, obviously, but not at a 50-50% ratio. It'll just give you maybe that 20%. Whereas if you're in a place where you're actually going to be doing some serious rock crawling or what have you, going up some serious inclines, you'll probably want that 50-50.
Yeah. And it'll let go, right? It's only going to be, let's say we're just playing with numbers, but it's 20% under a certain load. But there's going to be a certain load that it will no longer support that traction.
Okay.
Definitely better than open, which is, you got one wheel peel no matter what, and the rest is just following along, right? So that'd be it. Like, I mean, if I had to pick, I'd definitely pick a limited slip, you know what I mean, over open. And and then like I said, the front end gets a little more tricky with putting traction in there. You just want to be able to steer, really. So that's kind of the thoughts on that. But, for what it sounds like, for what he wants to do, the Jeep's going to be just fine, to be honest.
Okay, perfect. No, that's great. Awesome. Okay, second question. So this gentleman says, basically, he's looking to upgrade to Ultimate Dana 60s. So trying to decide if I should upgrade to a set of 60s, or if I should do that now, or if I should put money into the stock axles and just hope that they hold up. I just installed a set of 39s. I'm getting to re-gear at 513s. Looking to add trusses and some C gussets and some Chomley axles just to make sure that the stock axles hold up. But he's starting to think, well, if I'm going to put all that money into the, bolstering the stock axles, maybe it makes more sense to just bite the bullet and upgrade to the 60s now. What are your thoughts between bolstering existing and he's looking to actually go to 40s? But thoughts versus bolstering the existing now and then switching to 60s later, or should you just go to 60s now? And is that the way to go? Like, can you run 40s on those bolstered?
You could, like we do. Is it ideal? It's probably not ideal. You know what I mean? You got to be pretty conservative with it. You know what I mean? If money or time wasn't an object, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what supply chain's doing for certain axle suppliers. Like, right, if we're talking like next week we want to do this,
yep,
it'd have to be your time frame and your cash. So you're going to spend a lot more cash buying like crate 1-tons and changing out your steering and all that stuff, kind of like we talked about in previous episodes. But that to be said, like we have a JKM 40s with the G2 and the stock axle in the rear, but shafts, trusses, all the stuff he was talking about. And I think that's like 3 or 4 years now. And like, my wife's pretty tough on it. And but we are doing a lot of like teaching and 101s and stuff. And we haven't done a lot of like hardcore, like couple friends, kind of like, egos pumping, kind of 4-wheeling with it at all in a long time. So I haven't broken anything that way. And then we did the JL. And we were on a time constraint because we were thinking, like we were talking about before, about making deadlines and stuff. It was just, we couldn't get axles in time, this, that, and the other. So we did put money into the stock axles. It's on 41.5s. And we're going to take it out next weekend for different stuff, like some work stuff, photo stuff, but go for them for friends. And I'm pretty aware that the tire is overkill for that axle, and I'm going to be pretty careful. But I'm going to see what that JL front disconnect does, like how it acts. Like, it could die out there. We could blow it apart. I don't know. I'm not going to be aggressive with the Jeep off the hop, but that's kind of his bag. I mean, if I was starting from scratch and, like I said, time wasn't an issue, you're probably going to spend, I honestly think you'd probably spend close to double crate axle steering versus upgrading the OE, but you're probably going to get double the strength. And like we were talking before, your wheels won't fit, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's kind of a rabbit hole, but if you want to go down it, or the pocketbook works for you, that's the better option. No question. And even our previous episode talking about Tim's kits, if you have the skill or a shop that you want to pay to do all that 1-ton axle swap with the conversion brackets and all that fun stuff, I mean, that's another good way to go. So really, most expensive thing you can possibly do is like super aftermarket, fancy stuff, fancy steering aftermarket, right? And then you're going to want to know if you want to do like power, like PSC assist or any of that kind of hydraulic assist steering. It's just a big question.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, obviously, as with everything else, it really depends on what you're going to do with it. If you're planning on really wheeling it hard and what have you, then maybe, and time and money are not an issue, then go to the 60s. But if you're not going to be incredibly hard on it and you want something that's a little bit less, quite a bit less expensive, but probably still very versatile and strong, then upgrading, probably. So upgrading, really bolstering the axles, switching to that 513s, running 40s should be okay, especially if you don't take it off road at all. If it's just hanging out in a parking lot, then you're probably okay with that.
You're safe getting Walgreens or Walmart or Superstore or something like that for sure. I mean, no harm. Even yeah, totally, man. I don't know. We have a couple of trucks like what he's asking about. Yeah, in all honesty, they've held up just fine. But like I said, we drive reasonably aware of their limits, right? And if like I said, if you're a throttle happy guy or you want to go crazy or you're just like out there freaking out, like get the big stuff. You know what I mean? But be prepared for the cash injection. Right?
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Like everything, pay to play, right?
That's all it is, man.
All right, cool. Question 3. All right, so this one is interesting and I'm curious about this one as well. So this gentleman changed his rear diff fluid at 9,000 miles, and it's a limited slip as well. But the fluid was black, so I'm not sure why he changed it so early. To be honest, I believe he was upgrading to a different product. This is just in through the comments back and forth. But yeah, so black fluid, no shavings on the plug. Should he be concerned?
No, not really. I mean, I'd like to, it's easier to see it. Yeah. Usually if you like that stuff gets pretty hot in the diffs. Like it's just steel on steel, encased in steel. There's a lot of heat there, right? So basically where you're from is going to dictate kind of the grade of oil. Most commonly it's like 75-90 or, that's kind of it, or escapes me now, but there's a thicker weight oil and a thinner weight oil. And then it really depends on what limited slip you have. Some of them, like those clutch packs, require like an additive just to lubricate the packs. Best thing to do, to be honest, is just use the VIN, call the dealer. What are we putting in the OE axles that you design? And that's it. They're going to want to, it's more expensive, right? But it's not more expensive than replacing differential. So we kind of like to use factory required stuff. Same with like manual transmissions and stuff like that. Like there is a lot of really good aftermarket stuff out there. Royal Purple makes some cool stuff.
It was Royal Purple. That's what he was switching around.
Okay. Yeah, like it's pretty good. I used it in the past or in different vehicles. I never had a problem with any of it. But we do tend to go with OE stuff because they put different, things in it, detergents, and like it has viscosity levels that they built the axle to is designed behind. Sometimes it's more complex. Like it's more complex than the transmission and more important to do the exact transmission fluid, than it would be the differential. But like I said, you're going to want to find out if you require an additive. If you have a limited slip from the factory, you're going to require an additive. And then I would just, at the very least, use that one. You could read on the Royal Purple. I don't know which one you bought. And just say, it may stipulate, no additive required for limited slip. You know what I mean? I don't, off the top of my head, I'm not sure because we don't know. What do you grab?
Of course, sure.
But the black oil is kind of strange. I wouldn't mind seeing it. You know what I mean? Most of the time, the really concerns, they're not even huge concerns. If there's no real metal, you just change that oil. And if you want to do it a couple times because you're concerned about something in the oil, if you're changing it at home, you want to get in there and get some, brake clean it all out, get all the gunk out of there if there's gunk. But 9,000 miles is pretty new. If that's like 9,000 miles on the whole Jeep, like from
on the whole Jeep, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, man, you're under warranty. You should probably just pop it in there and just at least get them to document it, tell me how to challenge, because that's a big investment in a new vehicle, right? So I wouldn't even I wouldn't have even done it at home personally. I would have stuck my finger in there for whatever reason why he wanted to check it. And then being, hey, it's black, make an appointment. At least it's logged in the computer under the VIN. Hey, what was this guy's name?
I don't know, Terry, I think, something like that.
Terry, yeah, Terry X came in on this date, black fluid, right? We're gonna change it. Like they're gonna do that shit for free. They should, right? Or you just pay for the fluid or something, and then they'll do an inspection. Then it's all there. Because then let's say you went down another 9,000 miles, had an issue with your diff. One, they're gonna go, oh, you never came in before.
That's right.
Two, they're gonna be like, what's this purple stuff? Or like they get to the point, like I don't know if they do, but I know like TCI and stuff they put certain additives in their tranny fluid. So if they send the tranny back for warranty, they'll test it. If you don't use the TCI fluid, then they blank your window. So they may do something, you know what I mean, and then they just write you off. So that would be my doing that at home after warranty and stuff like that. Feel free to play around, but you did pay a good amount of money for something new. It come with a warranty. I would utilize the warranty.
Okay, no, really, really good. Actually, that's yeah, really good. I had a problem with mine with the diff, and I don't remember why. I don't even know what happened, but anyway, I took it in just to have it looked at, and because I don't know if it was slipping or if there was making noise. I forget exactly. It was a while ago, but yeah, they took it all apart and they found metal shavings and all that stuff. So, and I'm curious how and they took care of it. But just going back to your point about warranty, they completely took care of it, which is great. Took a little bit of time, for them because they had to pull it all apart and do all that, rebuild it. But yeah, they did a good job. Their warranty was perfect. They didn't give me a hard time. It was great. So, question though, how often would you normally change the diff fluid? Because it's not even something that crosses my mind.
Again, like these things are, and they have their own cycles. So you got a new one, you're going to have that book in your glove box. You may or may not have ever took it out and looked at it, but just flip through it. It'll give you maintenance intervals for everything. And if you plan on keeping it, or you plan on reselling it at some point, people love documentation, right? So that's just going to keep that value high. Like if they can go in and say, here's a whole folder of stuff, or here's a computer printed at the dealership of all the service. Like this guy was on top of this vehicle. It's a beautiful machine. It's worth X. Or even just your own peace of mind. Like things aren't cheap anymore. You know what I mean? Like you're paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for these things. Like just maintain them. Like it sucks. Like we got a whole bunch of different stuff in like service trucks, like our diesels and stuff that delivers. Like that crap comes in. We have a whole maintenance binders and like everything's in the maintenance binder. Like and it gets maintained just because it's way cheaper to maintain it than it is to buy it and replace it, right? So that would be it. Another thing, so if you're going off road a whole lot and you're doing a lot of trails and water and all that fun stuff, that changes the game completely. Anytime you go off road for a weekend, if you're going camping and you're just on some dirt stuff, like whatever, no big deal. Peace of mind, maybe jump under there on the Sunday or the, after work one day, just, take your head around, take a look, see if anything's leaking, see if anything's full of mud, like those types of things. And then if you thought, oh, I went through some water or this, that, and the other, maybe pop that, like if you're handy, right? Like pop that diff cover plug, stick your finger in there and, it'll probably run out right away, to be honest. If it's full, it should come out. And make sure you're on level ground. There's a whole bunch of little things, but you'll learn the hard way probably on a few. But, if it's milky or muddy or chocolate milk looking, you probably got water in there. So what happens is the oil in the water is going to separate under high temperatures. You're going to steam out the gears, and they're going to just boil them, and they're going to be dead. Check it. If it's milky and gross, if it's not nice golden brown or like lightly brown goldy, you know what I mean? You got to get it changed. If you're going to change it at home, cool. If it's under warranty, take it in. You know what I mean? If you're taking it in after four-wheeling and it's milky and all that fun stuff, do yourself a small favor. Pressure wash the thing underneath so it doesn't look like you took it through hell's half acre, right? And give yourself a chance to not be like red flag. Do you know what I mean? So, just a little tip, it depends on how honest you want to be,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I find the guys here, I'm usually pretty honest with them. Like I said, when that happened, I said, look, like I'm on 35. It's the stock gear ratio. Taking it wheeling a couple times. I was pretty honest with them, but I don't do anything quote unquote crazy. Like I'm not, running like Greens Mountain like crazy or anything like that, right? Like not yet anyway. So I at that point I'd just taken it a couple times, that one time with Tim and what have you, and some pretty cool stuff, but nothing crazy. But I was honest about it and told them what had happened, and they were cool. They were totally cool. They were like, yeah, no problem. Like it's a Jeep. Like the service guy owns a Jeep. He's like, I take mine out too. He's like, it's not supposed to do this. It'd be one thing though, just going back to your point, like it'd be one thing if you got hung up and peeled back the steel or whatever. And then you took it in, you're like, I don't know what happened, man. Like
yeah, totally. Yeah. I went to McDonald's and there's no dip fluid.
Right.
Like what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's kind of tough. Yeah, sometimes you got to man up and just be like,
yeah,
whatever.
That's what happened, and like I said, with the one that I did, he's like, yeah, no, it has nothing to do with what's going on, and so it was completely covered by warranty, and
Well, that's a nice thing, running into good humans, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can go either way. You can have one guy's through by the book, or he drives a Honda Fit, and he works at a Jeep dealership, doesn't understand any of this stuff. It's just a job for him. You know what I mean? There's those type of people, and then there's people that are enthusiasts, and they're in that service industry partially because they're enthusiasts and that's the job they fell into. And they're like, yeah, man, I totally understand. Like, that's great, right? So, but you're not going to get that everywhere. So I would even do them a favor regardless, because they're people, right? Like if I came to your work and I covered your desk chair in a bunch of mud, you'd be like, what the fuck, right? So if I can do my part and clean it off for you, so you have a nice work,
yeah,
like that is a workspace for someone, right? So yeah, just be, courteous that way, clean it up, make it nice. You know what I mean? Even inside too, like if you're a little sloppy, like I'm super weird type A. If you look on the back, there's calendars. They're almost equally spaced with thumbtacks. It's pretty weird, but my shit's clean. But I mean, there are people that have tons of stuff in there. Like, do everyone a favor that way. Make sure your stuff's clean. Whatever. Get up a half hour early. It sucks, I know. Clean your Jeep, clean underneath, clean it inside, wipe it down, give it to the person that's going to work on it. Like it's almost as new as you can handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that stuff will go miles.
That's,
you know what I mean?
That's a good tip, actually. That's a really good tip.
Yeah. It's because that's their office. Like a technician's office is going to be your vehicle. So if you can treat them with respect, you know what I mean? They possess a skill set you don't have. It's a different job. Everyone has their own skill sets, and you just got to treat them with respect. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying if you can, I mean, you should spend that extra time. Everyone in the world can get up a half hour early, one day a week, for one time
yeah.
the next 6 months. If you got it, just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, and then you're going to build that relationship, and they'll be like, hey, there's Tom. He's cool. Like, that's mint. You know what I mean? And because everyone's a human. It's all relationship based, and that's what you got to do. And if you think that way, I think you go a lot further on anything you do. And sometimes it's hard. You got to remind yourself that you got to treat everyone with respect. Sometimes you're like, oh, I can't. I got to clean this thing. Can't be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great tip, actually. And I think with that, I think we're good. That's a wrap. That's just remember to if you learned something today, of course, like clean your Jeep, hit the like button. That's right. Smash the like button if that's what you're into, and hit the bell if you're on YouTube. If you're watching on, if you're listening to one of our podcast channels on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, we're on, where are we? Stitcher and SoundCloud and iHeartRadio, I think. Anyway, check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you don't have to, look at our gorgeous faces. Yeah, we appreciate you being here every week. Also, check out those Mission doors. Those things are mint. They're really cool. Trust me. If you pick up a pair of those, we want to hear about it. We want to hear all about how awesome they are. So if you have a pair or a set, let us know, and we'll pop your information down in the comments. And if you pick up a pair, a set, let us know, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, awesome. Perfect. All right, well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it, and have yourself a great week. And thank you, Ryan, for being here. And next week we'll have Tim and everyone. And yeah, cheers.
Happy
Later on.
family again. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Bye-bye.